Good afternoon. It's about 1:30, Tuesday the 4th of January, and I've come down the lake today for a spot of carp fishing. I've had a mild period, as you know, the last week or so over the Christmas period, and now the temperature's dropping again, but the lake temperature is still quite warm at the moment. It hasn't affected that. I didn't actually bring the thermometer with me today, I forgot it, but normally now I'd be taking the lake temperature and seeing what the temperature was. But I fished up here last winter. I came up and had days in the week, and although I didn't catch masses of fish, I caught a fish every 2 or 3 trips, and the water temperature was averaging about 7.5, 8.5 degrees. The air temperature was about 12 then, but the water temperature was about 8.5, and I kept chucking a PVA nugget in at the side every trip and leaving it there, and it'd still be sitting there about 40 minutes later. So it shows how cold it was. And I never saw anybody right until about the end of February, beginning of March, when the sun shone one day and suddenly there were 17 cars here. But anyway, I'm here today and I'm going to give it a go for the next 3 hours up until about dark. I've already spoken to the bailiff, had a chat with him. While I was stood talking to him, I did see a little bit of fish activity. Some were just probably roach or skimmers, but I saw one fish lump out and I marked its spot while I was still chopsing to the bailiff, and John said to me that he hadn't seen any fish on the other lake, but I have been round the other lake as well. I didn't see any activity there, but I did see activity here, so we'll give it a go. Anyway, today's tactics quite simple really. There's no fixed leads on here on this water, or fixed feeders, so what I've got is I've got a free running lead, and that's stopped. Well, it would be stopped by a bead, but it's not. It's actually a rubber caster that I've put there, because I hadn't got any beads with me the one day, but I'd got a lot of fake baits with me, so I drilled a rubber caster with a baiting needle and just put that on there. And then I've got a hinge stiff rig, size 12 hook, because that's the largest you can have on here. There's no braid on this water as well. And then I've just got a pellet topped with a little bit of corn, and then somewhere behind me I've got a very small PVA bag, which is made up of a bit of boilie crumb, some micro pellets, and some krill. And I'm going to put that on. I'm seeing a lot of activity now while I'm sitting here. I'm still going to go out where I spotted that fish, I think, but I'm starting to see signs of other activity. This is the shallowest end of the lake up here. The deeper waters down by the dam, and you would perhaps expect the fish to be more down there, especially with the rainwater running in here, but this shallow end also warms up the quickest. And while I was here last winter, it's one of the things I noticed, where I expected the fish to all be down that end most of the time, quite often, especially on windless sunny days, there was more fish activity up here. So anyway, we shall give it a go. This is, bearing in mind what I just said about the PVA nugget, this is fast melt PVA mesh, so I know it will disintegrate. Right. I'm not greedy, just one will do. But to be honest, even if I don't catch anything today, I don't care. I'm having a couple of hours out, it's quite nice, I'm well wrapped up. It's not cold. It's only about 3 or 4 degrees today, but when you've got your suit and your boots on, you wouldn't exactly describe it as being cold. But if I don't catch one today, I'm pretty sure I'll get one over the next couple of trips. There goes a kingfisher. Oh, lovely. It's just through here. Oh, he's gone. I'll keep my eye on virtually the rest of the lake from here, and if I can't see, or the couple of bits I can't see from here, I'll hear if anything does lump out. And I'm travelling very light today, so it'll only take me a couple of minutes to move if I do see something else. But we'll concentrate on where I saw this fish for the moment. Besides, the view is beautiful. You're probably wondering why I've only got one rod. There's a couple of reasons. The first and most important reason is to use the second rod on here. You have to pay an extra £5 for the second rod. And the second reason is because I wanted to remain mobile. And when you've got a rod pod and you've got 2 rods and everything including the kitchen sink with you, you just don't want to move. And being on somewhere like here through the winter, you really do need to be more mobile than you do in the summer, to be honest, because if you see something over there lumping out, that's where you've got to go. It's no good just sitting here. It's not like in the summer months where the fish are all round the lake, and if you stopped here for long enough fishing over a bed of bait, eventually something will come across it. It's totally different in the winter, or I find it's totally different in the winter. Other people might beg to differ, but that's why I've only got the one rod. And I find that most of the time on here, one rod's more than enough for me anyway, even in the summer. I really like to stalk in the summer off the end of the platforms, as you've seen on some of the other videos, and certain little other spots around here. The same thing, you can't really go stalking fish if you've got a barrow load of gear with you. What you also tend to find this time of year is there will be a window in the daytime of when fish will feed, and that might be for only 30 minutes or an hour, something like that, and the rest of the day the fish don't feed, and you could be sat here all day long and not catch anything. But if you're in the right spot when that little feeding session starts, you're in with half a chance. And that feeding session's normally sparked off by not me putting any bait in. It's normally triggered by the temperature and possibly insect hatch, whether it's nymphs on the bottom or you know, something hatching through the surface film, chironomid midge, or perhaps a few sedges, and that will spark the fish off. That's what triggers them. But of course, once they get feeding, that's when they're likely to pick up your bait. Well, I've had one little bleep on the bite alarm. I waited a little while, it didn't develop into anything, so I struck into it anyway, but there was nothing there. So I put another bag on and I put that back out, and I've seen quite a bit of activity from small fish, mainly bream and roach. But I've not seen any activity from any carp, not since I saw that one jump out around lunchtime. See nothing for me to move on to or to cast to at all. So I think I'm going to call it a day here for the moment. Come back tomorrow and try again. I'm only expecting a fish every sort of 3 trips really. If I get a fish every 3 trips, I'll be quite happy. So anyway, as I said, I'm going to call it a day there. I'll come back tomorrow and give it another go. Right, so once again, thank you for watching, and until the next time, all the best with your angling.